Let me mute.
All right. Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Aligning with Success. We've had so much going on in the last few conversations. If you're just getting caught up, I would suggest the last few videos, last two for sure anyway. We did one, I think it was about a week ago. It's been posted on the Core Consultant chat, which was specific to the program that we've just launched. I think it's called Launch, of the Gold Plus Accelerator Team. If you don't know what that is, you've been sleeping under a rock. It's a big deal. It is a very big deal, as is the accelerator bonus that Niken has incorporated into our compensation plan for the next foreseeable future anyway, the next 12, 13 months anyway. So I wanted to maybe get some feedback going on this call and answer some questions, because I have been getting a lot of questions regarding the Gold Plus Accelerator Program, or the 18 Karat Gold Accelerator Program, how to really get into it and how to apply it. And I want to get some clarification so that we can really get this thing moving. So if you've got some questions about the 18 Karat Gold Accelerator Team, that whole project, that program, please fire away. That way you'll have a clean understanding and know how to utilize this as a tool if you are going to apply it in the next few months. Madeline.
I have a question. I'm in Dave's program or class, and my dyad partner, Cheryl Walters, is a real dynamo. She's an executive, and Diamond is her vision. She's been a really great motivator for me. I'm calling this dyad part of the class similar to the dyad part in Humans Being More. It's working that way, Mike. And so I wondered, is there a limit? You said we really need new people, not just the same old people. So
well, I want to be clear about what it is, because that question alone suggests that there's not really a clear understanding of what it is.
Good.
Okay. It is not an invitation to join yet another group. Okay. That's not what it is. It's not oh, now I'm part of this collective experience. Somebody is sharing their screen. I don't know why. So whoever's messing around.
Sorry.
Okay. I will be sharing my screen though, so give me a chance. So let me just again back up for a second. What it is not is oh, I need to be part of this, otherwise I don't count. It's not that. Or it's like the Core Consultant group, you're all on that chat, and I don't know if you guys ever read the fine print, but the actual explanation, I'll read it for you because it's funny. So I have to keep updating it every now and then, because I know every time I actually change a word on this, it reappears in the chat message, so you all get to see that I made a change, so you can read it. But Niken Core Consultant chat, as a Niken business builder, this is what it describes it as. As a Niken business builder, you are working to expand your network and influence in North America. Your focus is to finding and developing the next generation of Niken leaders. The purpose of this chat is to promote best business practices and their results. We collaborate to create an environment of humans being more. Please be mindful of what you post and that it is relevant to everyone in the group. Now, if you start going through some of the posts and the chats, you'll realize how much gibberish and chit chat and personal and private conversations are taking place in this open public format. It's because what happens is, you give them an inch and they take a mile kind of thing. People lose their focus. They lose the understanding of what the purpose and intent of something is. It's not a group think in terms of, or it's not a, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not, It's not like
social.
a cafeteria. It's not a social. Yeah, it's not meant to be a social. By the way, the Niken has a Facebook group for consultants, for business builders and consultants. So if you're not plugged into that, definitely plug into that, because we do need to build a community online, and we're trying different ways to do it. But the core consultant group's purpose was to bring together a group of people who were focused on business building, and to be more specific, expanding the network of business builders, not expanding the network of customers, although that's all part and parcel of what we learn. The focus is to expand the network of the business builders, which means that community, the core consultant group chat, ought to be growing. People should be adding themselves and adding downline members and so forth to it as you bring people on. It should be an ongoing, growing thing. In fact, I post and repost the link that allows you to send it to your person on WhatsApp so that they can get on that chat themselves. So I can't add them because there's a limit to how many we can add, but they can add themselves, and there's no limit till about, I don't know, 2,000 or 3,000 people. So the goal here of that group was to assemble business builders, people interested in expanding their network, learning from each other and collaborating with each other. The who's who, you start to see the who's on the chat and who's talking and what are they contributing to the chat and so forth. It starts to become part of the business builder community. That was kind of the goal. This group, the 18 Karat Gold accelerator team, is a temporary thing. It's like you get on the launch pad and you get launched. And then somebody gets on the launch pad and they get launched. And then somebody gets on. So it's kind of like a launch pad. It's meant to be a 90-day window in someone's Niken career. And if you've been in Niken and you're silver and so forth, you're presumably not the one being launched. It's meant for somebody who comes to the table. They must come. The only way you qualify as a launch partner is if you have at least 100 names on a names list that you're going to go through in the next 3 to 4 weeks. If you have that, you can be a launch partner. If you don't have that, you're not ready to be a launch partner. Why would you be? A launch is a specific thing that we're doing. So, but if you sponsored somebody, or if you've got somebody who is just somebody who's newly enrolled and wants to be launched, or somebody who is entertaining, you've got somebody in your downline and they don't quite know what it means to be launched, or to have a launch strategy because they haven't had all the information yet. That piece we call the what conversation, they've not yet had, because it's in the what conversation, a specific PowerPoint that I've put together, that is really where they see what a launch is and why they would make the investment of time, contacts, and money. The time being the time they have to allocate to actually invite people into the process. The contacts being their contact list, minimum 100 people. And then their investment is their investment in products, namely the packs, good, better, best. 1 pack's good, 2's better, 3's best. And for those who are serious about their business, they should also be consuming the products in terms of the nutritionals, maybe a core nutrition pack on AutoShip. Why? We want to create best practices so that they're going to experience the maximum results from the business. If this was a franchise and it was a really successful franchise, let's say one that made $25 million or more in Niken, they would probably insist on what you needed to do if you were expecting to be coached, mentored, sponsored, whatever, by that individual or that team or that group. If it was a franchise model, they would be very specific about what you needed to do to get ready to launch. So like if you bought a McDonald's or any type of franchise, you don't tell them what you're going to do. They tell you what you're going to do. And so network marketing it's like all that stuff goes out the window, and oh, anybody can join and anybody can do whatever they want and so on and so forth. The problem with that is it lowers the level of professionalism, which the industry has suffered from. It lowers the integrity, or the bar, if you will, to a point where the ability to predict success becomes a variable. It's too much of a variable. And so if we want to really ensure success, viability of somebody in the business, then we really need to teach them best practices, things that have empirically worked and practically worked for others. And there are some things that are very common. And if we look at our trajectory, we look at our history of Nikken, when the trajectory of growth was very, very vertical, then there were certain things that were happening that was resulting in multiplicity, not just one or two people achieving rank advancements, but just a generational effect. One generation leads to the next and so forth. To reestablish that type of continuity, predictability, we need to start going back to encouraging, almost insisting, what are the fundamentals? What are the things you got to be ready to do to make, you know, the rest of the cake requires a recipe. If you're going to be successful at baking this cake and it's going to look and taste and feel the way it's supposed to, it's got to go. You start compromising on the recipe, anything goes. And the second you start compromising, that means you're going to be open to compromise, which is going to be what you then duplicate. It's a thing that just dissolves into nothingness. So a level of excellence is what we're talking about, bringing into this specific time frame of Nikken, where excellence is based on performance and it's based on best practices. So how do you put all that into something that anybody can understand? That's what 18 Karat Gold Accelerator Team is about. It's about a group of individuals who have and are successful in Nikken and have successfully launched businesses, plural, not just their own, but many over the years, and have large organizations to show. So that group of people are going to be the ones who are your A's, maybe your A pluses in this case, where they're the ones who, if you brought somebody who was a new consultant or looking at this as a serious business opportunity, who would you want to share the business with them? Who would you want speaking on your behalf to tell them, hey, this is what it's going to take? Like, if you're serious about this and you want to make some big money, then this is a business. And it operates on some simple principles. The good news is it's very low cost, very low risk, but there are principles. And it's those principles that make it possible to create a lifestyle. But if we start watering down the principles, then forget the idea of a lifestyle. This is just going to be another business like every other business. You know, you work, you get paid, you work, you get paid, you work, you get paid, and there's no residual income in that. So if you're looking for residual income, if you're looking for a business that replicates itself, then there has to be something that's being replicated. That is those core principles. That is the nugget of the idea that's being duplicated. So, and that's the best principles that we're talking about in this program. So the idea here then is we want to give you a platform that is best practices delivered by the people who can deliver it with confidence and credibility to help you, so you can leverage that to help you enroll a new launch partner. So you're the launch sponsor. You're the person who's going to sponsor somebody who's going to be launched. Now, of course, there's a role that you play as a sponsor. The sponsor is actively involved in the launch. They're the ones who are most available as an A for ABCs. They're the one that's in contact with the launch partner daily. They're the ones who are, you know, they're on the field with this individual. They might be going out and doing one-on-ones with them. They may be hosting in-homes with them. The goal of the launch sponsor is to sponsor somebody in a launch, not to enroll somebody in Nikken. That's the difference. You can enroll people in Nikken all day long and do absolutely nothing. They do absolutely nothing. no duplication, no system, and they're out of business in 30 days. Or you can get on this track and start replicating a duplicatable path that's learnable, doable, teachable, and duplicatable, therefore. So that's what this is about. So what is a launch partner? A launch partner is somebody who you feel is interested enough to be able to make the commitment that's being required or asked of them. But how would they know that there's a commitment, or what is this commitment, or why is it worth it? Well, presumably before we ever get to meet them, you have contacted them and invited them to learn about Nikken using the trainings that we teach, and we'll keep reiterating on them. The why conversation. Why would they entertain a business? Because they have reasons that they want to bring balance into their life. Their reasons, not your reasons, based on the 5 pillars. So the why conversation / invitation, you might do a demo, maybe the demo that I show with the video with my kids. Maybe you send them that video, whatever it takes to get that person to say, what's this? That's the why conversation. And they will lean into the investigation. The next piece is the how conversation. What's the how conversation? It's how does Nikken fit in terms of solving their problem, their issues, they're looking for resolving their solutions. So the what or the how conversation, that can be a number of things. You can invite them to a meeting. I know Nikken is hosting a meeting, for instance, Tuesday nights. And that meeting is going to become more like a wellness preview, a meeting that there's a blend of business and product, but testimonials, which is the magic of Nikken. And we want to emphasize testimonials when people are looking to discover how Nikken can help them. Testimonials really, really matter. There's going to be, you have it already. You can use the link, theroyalalliance.com/a-better-way. That page has a number of links and documents that they can look at and learn about Nikken. So we control the conversation, what they're looking at, what they're being asked to evaluate. I usually tell somebody, check out the first couple of videos. If you like what you see, keep going. So now they're doing some homework. They're doing some review of Nikken in this how conversation. Now you would probably, at some point in that stage, invite them to meet with your sponsor. So you would be the person who your new contact would be inviting people to meet with, to learn a little bit more about the business of the products. But they're not ready for us yet. They're not ready for me yet until they've gone through that. Because when you bring them to me, I'm not going to talk about the product. That's been done. I'm not going to talk about Nikken. That's been done. I'm going to talk about how you turn that into an income, how you turn that into a cash flow, using a system, using a platform, and being able to create any kind of income that most people would be appreciative of. So when you bring them to us in that what conversation, which is the Thursday night, that call is going to really focus on the business, and it's going to be presented by the strongest entrepreneurs in Nikken. And so your prospect is going to have as close a connection to where the money's at as they possibly can to learn about the inner workings of the business and whether or not it's for them. That conversation really talks about, what am I going to do with my time if I get involved? What am I going to do with my contacts if I bring my contacts? And what's the amount of money that's necessary for me to get a good start? We have all that conversation in that presentation. We talk about the process. You take people through the process you've been through. You like it so far? Great. Then they'll like it too. So that's how you use your time. It's to invite people into a process and manage that process. How do you use your contacts? Well, your contacts are simply the people who you'd most want to be in business with that you invite into this process. And then lastly, and these are people you have influence with and who have influence with you. And you're going to leverage the A in terms of the ABC to help you with that. And then lastly is the money. It's up to you. we'll suggest a good, better, best. Good would be a pack, better would be two, best would be all three, plus something on auto ship, something that they're using and consuming, because what are they going to want to duplicate is the question that we present. And we show them a couple of options, a couple of examples of the return on investment. And by the way, just an FYI, what I'm going to share a little bit more tonight is the accelerator bonus, the accelerator program, not our program, I mean the NECAN accelerator bonus. That is a game changer, guys. That is what makes this program worth even attempting, is because now there's so much money on the table. How can you not go after this? I mean, it's insane that you wouldn't. When I joined NECAN, it was 20% if you were a silver. 20%, guys. I sponsored 26 people my first month. I sponsored 9 people my second month. In my first month, that launch activity generated for me an income just under $15,000. If I had the accelerator bonus, I'd have made over $30,000 that first month. So I look at that now and I think you'd be crazy not to go after this. I mean, it's there. It's for anybody who's serious about making money. NECAN's gotten pretty serious about giving you money. So it's like, wow, if it wasn't good, I mean, it was good enough to get me and a whole lot of people involved in NECAN then when it was 20%. Now, what is it? You know, like if it was good then, what's it now? What's the term that would describe it now? Crazy good. Anyway, so the what conversation that we'll have with them will pretty much give them the understanding of what it takes. And then they go away from that conversation with you to decide, is it good, better, or best? You know, like what else is there? So there you go. That's how that process goes. So you, as a launch sponsor, right now, if you decide that you want to be a launch sponsor, if you want to be part of this program, your job now is not to say, I want to be in this program. We don't need to know that. Unless you have somebody to bring to this program, you're not a launch sponsor. So your job right now would be to find somebody to bring to this. And that's when you say, click, hit the timer button, Mike, I'm on the job. That's when you submit your application so that we know, okay, you're in the game. You're not in the game until you have somebody. So you don't bother submitting a registration if you're not in the game. I know you want to be in the game, and submitting the registration is not an indication that you're in the game. Bringing somebody that you want to sponsor or you're prospecting to sponsor as a business partner, that's an indication that you're in the game. Now you're going to need our help. You follow how it works? So it's a reaction. Our program is a reaction to your action. It's not the other way around. We're here to support the launch and not to support your identity. We're here to support the launch. In other words, you got somebody to launch, you got a prospect to launch. Yeah, we'd like to meet them. We'd definitely like to share with them what it means to be playing the game at this level, especially if they're interested in money. So if you don't have somebody that's ready for that conversation, you're not ready. You follow? So I would stay very close to this call, Ben's call, Dave's calls. These are calls where we coach, where we teach people, and we teach them the steps in partnering and prospecting and creating understanding and awareness so that you are able to get in the game. You are able to bring the right people to the table. When I say the right people, qualified leads, qualified prospects. And what you're going to do is you're going to prep those people to a point where they're ready for somebody like us to talk to them about the business. And then we get to launch. So in launch mode, we now invite them to participate as a launch partner, which means they're saying, I'm in, I'm going for this. You got my attention for the next 90 days. After that, I don't know, but these next 90 days, you got my attention. What do I need to do? And then that's it. We help them plan it out. Boom, they go into action mode. And now they're the ones bringing people to the Thursday night call because they've done steps number 1, step number 2 with your help. And now they're coming to the Thursday night call because they've got somebody who's red hot and wants to know how this business works. And then they join. And so that's how we create generational growth. Generational growth is the key, is the absolute key to building an income stream that is residual. You have to have duplication.
Yep.
So hopefully that long-winded answer kind of answered the concept. Any other questions that stem from that?
I have a question, Mike.
Go ahead.
In my experience, getting the good, better, best done, very often it's best is easy with ABCs and all of that. The hardest part is getting people to produce that 100-name list. And
Why do you suppose that is?
Probably because they don't really understand it. I remember at the beginning, I sure didn't understand why it was important. But even when it is explained, I guess it's because they don't really want to do it, or I don't know
No,
what
that's not it.
else.
No, that's
That's
not
not
it.
it.
Tell me one person who wouldn't want the arc of my career. Okay. I've been in Nikan almost 33 years. And most of you know my success as an Nikan entrepreneur. You tell me one person who wouldn't be interested in having had that experience, having had that happen to them. It's not a question of whether they want it. I believe they do want it. And maybe it's not a question of know-how either. It's a question of confidence, guys. It's confidence.
Okay.
If they lack
Yeah.
self-awareness, if they lack self-confidence, they're not going to be a launch partner. They're going to try Nikan. They're going to quote unquote try Nikan. They're going to dabble and they're going to shoot themselves in the foot and fail because they approach this as a dabble. And dabblers don't succeed in anything. Period. I don't care what it is. Religion. You dabble in that, you fail. Sorry, it doesn't count. You got to go for it. You're either all in or you're all out, because there's nothing in between that matters. You just look at society, look at everything the way it's organized, the aligning with success. You tell me who's successful? People who are dabbling? No. So if the reason why they're not making the list or bringing the list to the table is because they don't know what's going to happen to it. This is my list. These are my people. This is my credibility on the line. They lack confidence. But I assure you, you get them in front of this group the right way. You follow this process the way this process is designed. They will have all the confidence in the world to bring people to it. If you start doing it your way, anyway, whatever way, make it up as you go along, that's hard to build confidence with. But if you can show somebody a system, a plan, a system, and you present people with tremendous credibility, you don't think these people are going to want to bring their people to this? I think that's the game changer, guys. The ABC is the game changer. And when you have the right A's about the business, to talk about the business, then that's going to create confidence. And that confidence is going to cause them to be excited about involving others, because they will see the level of professionalism. The one thing they're afraid most of is that you're going to somehow, or we're going to somehow tarnish their image in the eyes of these others. But if you can show them, that's why this process is so important, following it as the why, the how, the what. Because if you follow that process, all we're going to say in that last conversation is, if you liked this process, then this is all we are asking you to do, is to invite others into it so they can explore it for themselves and see the benefits for themselves. If the process is done intelligently, if the process is done professionally, if the process is done with courtesy, with compassion, if you do this process right, the why, the how, the what, then they're going to feel like they can trust anybody in this process. They can bring anybody to this process. And there's where the confidence comes from. It comes from their experience of the process. that builds the confidence for them to bring others to the process. So that's a game changer, guys. That's why we're doing what we're doing, because we know what it works, how it works, and what works. And the lack of this is really what's been missing for you. And so hopefully that answers your question, Paul, because
Yes, yes, it does.
good.
So
good.
they will be presented to you perhaps before they have that list so that they can have the confidence
Yes.
to build it.
Yeah. In the what conversation in the Thursday night call, what they're going to be, first of all, given a recap. First thing they're going to do is, here's what you should have been exposed to so far. And if you haven't, the person who brought you here has got some work to do. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is take them through a recap. Okay, so now we're telling them what they should know, what they should already understand, what should be already clear to them. So if it is, because you've done your job, perfect, because that's just the check mark. It's like, check, okay, we got that. Now let's move on from here. How does this thing work in terms of a business and a business model? And then we get into that. And then we show them the cash flow, and then et cetera. And then what is it that it entails? It entails them bringing people into the same process they've just been through. So it's a bit of a recap with a little bit more understanding and a little bit more information, so that they have, at that point in time, everything they need to know. And we let them know. You now know what you need to know. If you don't know these products yet, guess what your next move is? Like, wouldn't you like somebody like me to say that to your prospect? Hey, if you don't know what these products are about, what do you think your next move is?
Yeah.
Because you're probably, the one who's sponsoring them, probably saying, I don't want to be pushy. I don't want to ask, blah, 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 blah. Hey, the franchise tells the franchisees what to do. Let us do our job. If you're serious about this, you don't know these products yet, what do you think your next job is? To explore the products. So which one makes sense to you? Good, better, best, pick one. I don't care which it is. Just understand the ramifications, that you will duplicate what you do. So choose wisely. That's what they're going to be told. How many of you sell products you don't have? How many of you feel confident? Confidence is the issue. How many of you would feel confident selling, marketing, talking to people about a product that you yourself don't have, don't use?
I wouldn't feel confident at all.
Nope. So
Neither.
we're pretty clear about
I wouldn't
that.
either.
Really a business of do as I do, not as I say, do as I do. So it's the most simple form of duplication possible. I mean, as a child, how did you learn to eat? You watched your parents do this. I mean, you mimic, right? We mimic what we see. So we're asking people to join a business of showing people how to mimic a good idea. Like, Negan's just a good idea. These products are just a good idea. You want to mimic this in your home. You want to tell other people, other members of your family, mimic this in their home. I mean, that's essentially what we're doing. And then if you explain it that way, then a person realizes, okay, my decision to get the products is not which should I get. I should get them all. It's which should I start with? What can I reasonably afford? What can I reasonably expect others that I know to do? That's the decision it comes down to. It's not a question of what should I get? You should get them all. It's which should I start with? And eventually you're going to have them all anyway. So this is what this is all about. It's about creating a process where, as you go through this, by the way, yourselves, you'll be reminded, most of you, of what it was that you were doing in the past when the growth curve was vertical. But you'll also realize how common sense it is. It's just practical. It's just common sense. So I like to use visuals in my presentations. To give you an example, this is part of the presentation. This is an addendum. For those of you who are asking questions about the compensation plan, I'll show you a pretty straightforward way of presenting the compensation plan. But anyway, this is an addendum. This will be more for the training portion on Saturday. But what we have here, if you can see the visuals on the left-hand side. Oh, so let me just take you through the recap. You know, how do we start this thing? Let me just back up. Okay. So let's do a recap. What's NECAN? It's the active wellness movement. It's Vision 2025. It's every home a wellness home. How about being part of the history in the making? Perfect timing, perfect mission. Couldn't get any better, more timely than this. What do we offer the world? A better way, a path to creating a wellness environment that actually gives their body and their mind sustenance. It's powerful products, powerful position in the marketplace. Nobody's doing what we're doing. Total wellness, we're it. How does the business work? Leverage and scalability. Just like Amazon, just like Uber became the monster companies they did, it was because they provided a platform for would-be entrepreneurs to take advantage of their system and build a business for themselves or an income stream for themselves. In the case of NECAN, it's not limited to one generation. You can create 6 generations and get paid on 6 generations. So it's scalable as a business and income. As far as what do I need to know? You're going to learn as you go, but you're going to learn from people who've already done it. Collaboration. So very supportive team and environment. That's the thing you need to know. You're going to know as you go. And how are you going to be able to manage this? Well, because what we do is not a big thing and a small thing. We do a little bit consistently. We do a manageable thing, choices, for instance, when it comes to our wellness, choices when it comes to our business activities. Little things that we do on a daily basis that turn into big things in terms of compounding. As an example, contacting new people every day will be part of this from a business point of view. Our NECAN opportunity is not just a business, it's actually a transformational experience. It creates purpose and culture, and you'll witness that and feel that. And you probably already have, but what's important is that it builds community. And what is it that people need more than ever these days? To be part of community, but a community of people that are focused on the right thing, balance in the 5 pillars. So you can be a customer, choice number 1. If you're a wellness enthusiast, this is for you. However, if you're a wellness promoter, might we suggest you actually register as a consultant? It's $38, $39, whatever it is, and you can become a consultant. If you're a customer already, click the upgrade button in your back office, and you can register as a consultant. But if you're a wellness enthusiast, you're a wellness promoter, and maybe a community builder, we're going to suggest maybe you partner. We have a program that's specially designed to help accelerate the launch of somebody in this business. We'll get into that in a moment. And then I get into the plan. So now we go into the actual money-making strategy, okay? So that's how this presentation opens. So if you've got a business prospect that you're bringing to this presentation, then that recap coming from somebody who is rock solid in their conviction of those statements gives them confidence. And then when we get into the business and the launch strategy itself, the fact that we actually have a plan and we can show it in pictures, again, creates confidence. See, when you have a plan and you can actually show them in pictures, it gives confidence. Can you imagine walking into a McDonald's and you say, you know, I want to buy a McDonald's. They tell you it's $1.6 million. When you get the money, we'll show you what you need to do. You'd be pretty, you'd be like, what? Do you have a brochure? Like, do you have a prospectus? Do you have anything you can show me? Do we even have a franchise I can look at? Like, you would have to have some information before you ever had the confidence to go and look for the money. So same thing with this business. As a business, I'm not talking about NECAN the way 99% of the population do NICAN or network marketing for that matter. I'm talking about who makes the money. Any network marketing company, who makes the money? It's the top 1%. And when I'm talking about the money, I'm talking about the big money. Okay, so there's money to be made, a few $100s a month, a few $1,000s a month. And boy, oh boy, if you can't do it now with the accelerator program, I don't know how you would ever do it. But there's money to be made, but there's also careers to be made. And so what we want to show people is the possibility of what it looks like to get your plane off the ground so that this NICAN business becomes a viable possibility for you in 90 days. You're 90 days away from changing your life. Anybody is. I remember hearing that a long, long, long time ago in another world, in another place, but somebody told me, it was a network marketing professional, you're 90 days away from changing your life with this. And that sunk home with me. And I remember when I started my NICAN business, when I was first introduced to this, I knew, same thing, I'm 90 days away from changing my life. And believe me, at that point in time, I wanted to change my life. I wanted a complete shift. It wasn't going in the direction I had ever imagined it going by that time, at 27 years of age. So I knew if I could, if I was going to do it, I'm either in or I'm not in. I'm not going to do half measures. I don't do half measures. Successful people don't do half measures. There's no success story that says, I did half measures and I became a huge success. There's no such story. So I knew that if I was going to do it, I was going to do it, which meant I was going to at least give the first 90 days my best. I was going to give it my best. Because I knew it could change my life. Guys, it didn't take 90 days. It didn't even take 90 days. But I acted as though my life depended on it. And it did. My career, my purpose, my vocation, here we are 33 years almost later. And that is because of the first 90 days. You might say, oh, yeah, well, what about the rest of the time in NICAN? The rest of the time, the momentum for my career in NICAN had been established already. My biggest leg still to this day was born in the first week. Do you think that leg was born because I was half-assed about this? Do you think that leg was born because I was not committed? Do you think that leg was born because I wanted to try NICAN? No. I brought people in with the full expectation, full intention that they were going to win just like me, just like others. And I did that every day, and I did that consistently every day. And if you were ever around me, if you heard me speak, I didn't speak with the eloquence I do today. I didn't speak with the confidence and the knowledge that I do today. But boy, you would have gotten one thing up from me for sure. You would have known 100% for sure, this kid really believes what he's saying. That you would have walked away. People used to use the word sincere. He's so sincere. What does that even mean? It means that I was completely clear about what I was saying, and that I meant what I was saying, and that I truly believed what I was saying was the truth. Like, you just knew that. Now, it was up to you at that point to do your own homework, your own discovery, and see whether or not if I was living a fantasy or if there was really some truth to what I was talking about. But you never walked away from me wondering or doubting whether or not I believed. So if you're going to give it, if you're going to launch somebody, we want that somebody to win in their first 90 days, win big. Because you know what? If this is worth winning at, why do we have to take more than 90 days when the plan calls for 90 days or less? And the sooner somebody starts to see the success as possible because they're doing the work in the right way, then they're going to tell others. And success breeds success. And all of a sudden now you have a movement. And that's what this is about. This whole strategy of the 18 karat gold accelerator team, along with Nikan's revisions and the compensation plan addition of the accelerator bonus, that changes the game. That changes everything. You can now do what I'm doing. You can now speak with the authenticity, with the sincerity, with the conviction that, oh boy, if I thought Nikan was pretty good then, without these additions, what is it now? And so talk that way. Let people experience your passion and your conviction for this. You know, I'm hoping a little bit of this rubs off. Let me share something else. I did some number crunching. So part of this presentation includes me doing number crunching. Again, this is an addendum. So here's an example. Here's an illustration. Oops. Okay. Oh, by the way, I love this. I brought this slide back in because I really love this slide. So if you think about how you can approach Nikan, Nikan is a business that you can approach one of three ways. You can approach it like an affiliate model, which is essentially a retail model. You make recommendations to others, they buy products, and that generates some extra income. And of course, an affiliate model works. It's working for a lot of people in many different ways. Most companies are now setting up affiliate programs. The business model, you know, Nikan as a second income, is really about finding partners and customers by promoting the products and introducing people to the opportunities. So you need to have a little bit more skill. You have to have more invested in inviting people into a greater learning process where some of the tools are things that you're going to need to know about, you know, like the one that we're talking about. But the network marketing model, this is the model that is really the big prize. The big prize is learning how to network market. And what is network marketing? It's learning to sell a system. It's not selling a product. It's not selling a business. It's advocating for a system. And that is the distinction between network marketing and direct sales. If you're not doing that, then here's what's missing. What's missing in your presentation is the seed in the apple. You're selling the apple without a seed. All you can do with an apple that has no seed is eat it. But if you got a seed, what can you do with the seed? You can plant it. And what do you get? More apples. Network marketing is learning how to sell the seed, how to plant the seed. The apple is obvious. The seed is in the apple. So I don't need to talk about the obvious. It's the seed that's not obvious. You know how many apples, or excuse me, you know approximately how many seeds are in an apple, but you don't know how many apples are in a seed. That's network marketing. When you sponsor somebody, you don't know. When the person who sponsored Mike DiMuccio sponsored me, did they know what I was going to do? No. Could they know? No, they just saw a kid who seemed sincere, young, you know, ambitious, or whatever. But could they possibly have known that I would have built a billion-dollar enterprise? No. You don't know the potential of somebody, especially somebody who wants more than what you want. So this is the beauty of network marketing. If you tap into this as part of your process, as part of your strategy, then what you have is the potential to build orchards, not just sell a few apples, but build orchards that create apples upon apples, generation after generation, season after season. How would you like to get paid 33 years from now for something you did today? It's not an accident, folks. It's understanding how to play the game. And so this is the kernel of the idea. This is the seed of the idea that I'm talking about. Learning how to create this and duplicate this. Now, let me just race through this real quick. I want to advance to the slide I'm looking for.
Mike, are these new slides in the new little flip chart that you have and what you buy 100 of?
No, there's portions of this, but not this, not the whole amount. No.
And is this new one, this new Better Way on?
This is not Better Way.
This is your
This is-
business.
This is the what presentation. This is the business plan and launch strategy
So
presentation.
this is not in the tools either.
No. The
Thank-
only person who'll be delivering this right now is me.
Got it.
So we have our accelerator program. This is mentioned in here, 18 karat gold, mining for diamonds, okay? So here's an example that they're going to see. So we've just gone through the exercise of learning what is a core circle of influence. It's you surrounded by a nucleus, a core group of people who are enthusiastic about Niken, the products. 5 customers, 3 partners. That's all we're using as an example, okay? Now, let's say your strategy is, I'm going to purchase a water pack from Niken. It's about $600 US. And I'm gonna ask everybody who I talk with, when the time comes, I'm going to ask them to join me and to consider purchasing the water pack as their initial startup. So not the waterfall, not the sleep system. In this example, it's the water pack. I'm going to ask them to do as I've done. Now, will everybody do it? No, everybody's going to do their own thing, but some will. And the ones that will, that's my core circle of influence. So now, 5 customers and 3 partners using the accelerator program now in effect. This is what would happen. The person would go executive, they would complete a powerhouse, and they would generate about $1,240 in income. That's 3 partners and 5 customers who purchased a water pack. That's month 1. Now, I'm going to accelerate this for a second. By the way, if you duplicate this in month 2, you're a silver. Okay, so you duplicate it through your 3 partners, not you, through your 3 partners. The focus shifts from you to them. That's duplication. That's why you need a team. This is a team sport. So now, 2 generations and you're a silver. Let me show you what happens if instead the strategy was around 1,500 points. Example, an energy pack and a sleep pack, which is about $2,100 US. So somebody says, okay, I'm going to start my business. I'm going in with an energy pack and a sleep pack. Now, same activity. We're not doing anything different. All we're doing now is asking people who we meet with to invite them to learn about Niken and join us to do as we did, energy pack, sleep pack. Now, what would happen is you'd go silver in your first month and generate $5,100 in return. That's a 2.5 times return. Asking those 3 partners and 5 customers to purchase the energy and sleep pack. Will everybody do it? No, but some will. That's your core circle of influence. Now, what somebody is seeing in this presentation is this core circle of influence duplicated. So everything becomes about creating the core circle of influence. So that's what we focus on. We focus on showing them how to create a core circle of influence, which is a process inviting people into, which will show people the possibilities of Niken, and they will then decide what's right for them. Customer, if you're a wellness enthusiast. Consultant, if you're a wellness enthusiast and a promoter. And partner, if you're all those things and a community builder. You see, you start using that language and people start identifying. And whatever it is they identify clarifies where they are on the scoreboard of your team. So now that's a system. And if you hear that presentation every week, and your contacts hear that presentation every week, and your team builders hear that presentation every week, what do you think they're going to duplicate? Something else?
So even when you're not there, if it's Susan or Barbara, they're going to be presenting the same one.
Presumably, yes, that's the goal. Now, by the way, there is a slide in here that shows why do we do this? Why is it so emphasized? Because there's a real benefit to doing it this way. Let me back up here. Here's what happens if you duplicate this core circle of influence 6 generations. Oh, you're not seeing this. Hang on. Duplicate one thing through generations. Core circle of influence duplicated 6 generations, and look at the type of rank and income that generates. So everything then leads right back to the same thing, the core circle of influence. It's like bake a pie and teach others how to bake the pie. The whole strategy for leveraged income, for duplicatable income, is to do something that you can teach others how to do. Now, how do we create that core circle of influence? That's in the following slides. Where does it begin? With your list. Everybody who's ever been a Royal Diamond and NECAN has an organization that consists 99.999999999% of people they don't know. But it all began with somebody they knew. So everybody's empire is going to start with people they know. Now, Paul, they understand why the contact list is precious. And why that's going to be their first choice. It's people they know, people they trust, people they respect, especially when they're given some information, instruction on how they would be invited, especially if you invited them to NECAN in a very professional way.
I've got to
You know?
redo my list.
I think everybody, I think we all need to be redoing our list. My goodness. Oh, I forgot to show you the one last slide here. Then we'll call it a day. So I've been looking at this thing and I'm like, wow, this is crazy. Like the numbers.
And it with the Z one again, just to summarize it all.
Okay, here. So here we have this slide here. The compensation plan. Okay, so when I joined NECAN, if you're a silver, okay, the S in the middle there, if you're silver, you earned 15% on your seniors, you earned 20% on your directs, and you earned 10% on your executives. Back that up one. If I was an executive in NECAN and I had a senior, I'd earn 5% on my seniors, I'd earn 10% on my directs, and I'd earn 0 on my execs. What is it now? I'd earn 25% on my seniors, I'd earn 30% on my directs, and I'd earn 20% on my execs for the first 4 months of their life. How many of these people would I like to have?
A lot.
As a silver?
You need a lot.
As a silver, add that 20%. So 20% on 15, I'd be earning 35% on new seniors, 40% on new directs, and 30% on my executives. Guys, if this doesn't say get to senior in a hurry, I don't know what does, or excuse me, silver, get to silver in a hurry. But when you look at the numbers, adding that 20% on top of everything, this is what I like to say. If NECAN was good enough for us when the 20% was not there, what is it for you that the 20% is there now? And if it's good enough, if it's incredible for you now, what do you think it is for the new person that you're going to introduce this to? See, this is why this means so much to us, because if you've been gun shy about talking to people about the opportunity, because you didn't even know what to say, trust me, we know what to say. Get them in front of us. and they're going to hear what you're hearing. And you should also be renewed in your confidence in why you should be talking about the opportunity, because they are the ones who are going to be making that 20% on top of everything. They're the ones that you're offering this to, not just you. It's what they get. You now have something to offer somebody that no other network marketing company has. Trust me, I know comp plans. I study comp plans. So we have a real opportunity here to turn the jets on, to act like it's your first 90 days and make people feel like you know with certainty what those 90 days could mean. It could mean a change. And honestly, if that doesn't change your behavior, nothing will. There's nothing Nikan could possibly put on the table that would change anything for you. You might as well hang it up. So I suggest both feet in right now. Both feet in. Give us something to do. Those of us at the Royal Diamond rank, make us more busy on your prospects than we are on our own. That would make me happy. I don't know if you guys noticed, I was the MVP last month. How do you think that makes me feel? You think it makes me feel good to be the Nikan's most valuable player? 33-year-old Royal Diamond multimillionaire, and I'm the one who's leading the pack? Where's the millionaire out there? I want to know who in this audience is the next millionaire. Who is the one that you're going to bring to that's the next millionaire that's going to be the MVP? Because I don't want to be the MVP. I want somebody else being the MVP. And with that, I'm going to be in Montreal, by the way. That's one event that's been scheduled now. It looks like it's going to be on the 18th of November. For those of you who have some guest prospects in that area, start talking to them, because we're going to be expanding in the Quebec area. I know there's some grumblings going on in Vancouver, so I might be out there pretty soon. Anyways, any final comments? Jeannie?
Are we doing a this Thursday night?
Yes.
Because
We're doing it, and we're doing it on the, I know there's submissions that have gone in. I haven't seen them yet. They're being compiled for the accelerator team. And we're scheduled to do Thursday. The Saturday event, the Saturday Getting Started training, that won't start for another 2 weeks because Dave is finishing up his program on that time slot. So yes, this Thursday is a go. If you have a business prospect, then we will be presenting.
Thank you.
Okay. And of course, I'm speaking to those of you who have registered in the program. It's not a free-for-all. This is strictly high-performance team. We only want high-performance energy at the table. Energy makes a difference. You know that, right?
Yeah.
You know that everybody with high, if you got people sitting there like this because they're a spectator, that does not help our meeting. So we don't want spectators. We want people who are actively participating in the launch.
A question, Mike, and this is
Yes.
awesome. For Thursday, if we are excited, we don't have a prospect yet, but we're beating the bushes and jumping in with both feet. Are we welcome on the Thursday meeting, or are we only?
You don't
welcome
need the Thursday meeting.
because it's for the prospect.
Right.
Okay. Duh. Okay. Thank you.
Bingo. All right, cool. Sue, you have your hand up.
Did anybody have trouble getting into the back office today?
Yes, there was some challenges. I think they might have been uploading some stuff.
Awesome, because I was trying to get into my customer list so that I could send them a link to join as a consultant.
Yeah, there was some issues early in
All
the
right,
morning.
I'll go
I don't know
back
if that
in.
persisted.
See if it's
Okay,
fit.
guys. All right. Any other questions before we sign off? All right. Wonderful. Thanks, everybody. I hope this helps, and see you next week.
Thank you. Very helpful.